Here are two questions. Do the angels in heaven keep the seventh-day Sabbath as we do? Are the commandments in the ark in heaven the same as given to man, as angels can't commit adultery, etc., as we do?
This is always a very interesting point of discussion. The Bible is quite clear that the Sabbath is part of this creation.
Yes.
It came at the end of the sixth day.
Of the creation.
Then the seventh day was made the Sabbath. And it is also very clear that the Sabbath was made for man.
Yes.
Now the reason for that is that man was given dominion, unlike the angels. We must actually talk about another question that there is at some stage regarding this issue of the creation of man and the fall of man, etc. But the point is, it was a creation for man. It was made for man. Jesus is quite clear of it, and he said that he is Lord of the Sabbath. Now the angels had constant access to God, but man had 6 days of labor in which he could communicate with God, but not give all his attention to this relationship. So the seventh day was introduced to make it possible for him to have this intimate connection, find this rest in God. So the angels didn't keep it before then, because it was made for man.
Yes.
But the Bible also tells us that it will be a perpetual event that will take place in the new world. So angels will partake in the future. And at the time that we are living in, when we keep the Sabbath, they participate with us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
So they're not keeping it in heaven. They join us on the Sabbath on earth.
Correct.
And then in the new heaven,
Correct.
we will be keeping it together.
Correct. As a constant reminder of our origin and our redemption.
Yes. About who we acknowledge as our God.
Correct. And then the second question, are the commandments in the ark in heaven the same as given to man, as angels cannot commit adultery? That's a good question, right?
Yeah.
Here's a quote in First Selected Messages, page 230. It says that the law of God existed before the creation of man, or else Adam could not have sinned. After the transgression of Adam, the principles of the law were not changed, but were definitely arranged and expressed to meet man in his fallen condition. Christ, in counsel with his Father, instituted the system of sacrificial offerings, that death, instead of being immediately visited upon the transgressor, should be transferred to a victim which should prefigure the great and perfect offering of the Son of God. So, in other words, the law was codified in a form to meet man in his fallen condition. So, the principles were not changed. So, the principles existed for all eternity, otherwise Satan could not have sinned.
Correct.
So, iniquity was found in him, and that is the transgression of the principles of God's government.
Yes.
So even though the angels can't commit physical adultery, they can commit spiritual adultery.
And Lucifer did, and the fallen angels did.
Correct. And the Bible makes it quite clear that if you break one, you break them all. So let us say, for example, you covet. That's where his sin started, right?
Correct.
The throne of God.
Yes.
He coveted it. So his first seed of sin was coveting. Coveting led him to other sins. He insinuated that God's government was not righteous and not fair. In other words, insinuation is a form of lying,
Yes.
right? A mild form, but it is a form of lying. To insinuate something, to plant an idea contrary to the facts.
Yes.
That's a lie.
Yes.
So by coveting, he started to lie. Eventually, when you take it down the road, he broke the first commandment, which says, "Thou shalt not
Have any other God?
have any other gods beside me." And by elevating himself to a position, he was committing idolatry.
Idolatry. Yes.
So he was breaking the second commandment. He had to malign God in order to make his case. That broke the third commandment. The fourth commandment is a commandment which was made for man.
Correct.
But the principle of the commandment is a relationship with God.
Yes.
And because he had already broken the first one and the second one and the 10th one and broken the one about lying, he broke that relationship, so he broke the fourth commandment. He dishonored his parent, who is God.
Mm-hmm.
He broke the fifth commandment. He was prepared to kill him, and he did.
Yes.
He broke the sixth commandment.
Yep.
Did he break them all?
Yep.
Did he commit spiritual adultery?
Yes.
So by breaking one, he broke them all.
Correct.
So it is a principle that is eternal.
And that's why it's so entrenched. That's God's character. That's
Correct.
His, what did you say in the beginning? His government of the universe.
It's the basis of his government, the foundation of his government.